everyone's catching the corona.
Oh, it's too late for you.
Still don't believe in vampires, detective.
Bat. What? Bat. The one we're here to find, Mr. Ventura. You didn't say anything about a bat.
I didn't say anything about a bat. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Fire Report. I'm Lamar. All right, so the coronavirus is spreading like wildfire around the world, and I wanted to come on to remind everyone to be careful and to give my opinion on what's going on. Because if you've been shopping, flying, or hanging with friends, you really need to be careful because this thing is spreading like wildfire, okay? So the coronavirus is nothing new. And for those of you all who have been living under a rock, you also need to be paying attention, okay? Like I said, the coronavirus is nothing new. In fact, it belongs to a family of viruses named for the crown-like spikes on the viruses themselves. SARS and MERS are also coronaviruses, and they often causes illnesses like the common cold. And since the coronavirus brings on flu-like symptoms, it's the reason you all have probably seen pictures floating online and on social media mentioning the virus on Lysol and Clorox products. And some of these products have been proven to fight some of the strains of coronaviruses. But this new strain that's making its way around through humans is something else, okay? And it should be taken serious. The virus is said to have come from bats sold in the Wuhan marketplace, where other wild animals are purchased and later consumed in the homes and restaurants as luxury add-ons to various meals. I don't say how to eat that thing. I don't say how to look at it, okay? One of the most popular mammals to eat in China and other parts of the world, as you just saw, happens to be bats. And they're seen as a delicacy to those who want to partake in the winky activity. People around the world are loving them some bats. And so was the Chinese before this corona stuff went down. So you may have asked yourself, what would make someone want to eat a damn disease-carrying bat? Well, fasten up your seatbelts and let's take a throwback field trip outside of America.
In the far reaches of Papua New Guinea, the Karen tribesmen hunt a delectable dish. It has fur, fangs, and claws. And it's not something most Westerners would dare to taste. It's a bat, the flying fox bat, to be precise.
It's tasty meat, flying fox. A couple of times a month, we eat it.
To Westerners, bats are the stuff of nightmares and horror movies. Just say bat and many think of vampires, sinking their fangs into helpless victims. Even in the real world, bats are thought of as carriers of dreaded diseases, like rabies. But in the Madang region of Papua New Guinea, the Karen people have a long tradition of hunting bats as food. The flying fox is the most common breed of bat here. It's also the largest bat in the world. That means bigger claws, bigger teeth, and bigger wings. These fruit eaters can weigh up to 3.5 pounds, 50 times as much as the average bat. The flying fox bats aren't easy to catch, but for these Karen men, it is a tradition. They have been raised from boyhood to use ingenuity and homemade weapons to nab them. Today, they'll mount a sneak attack through the thick overgrowth and come at the bats from behind. The flying fox bats wait unsuspectingly with their beady eyes and large wings. The men will have to wade into the lake. But there's one problem. These waters are teeming with deadly crocodiles.
We went into the trees, hit them while they were hanging. They fell down, and we caught them. They fell into the water, and we got them and put them in the canoe.
Back at the village, fresh coconuts are cut up for the main dish. The hunters steered clear of the crocodiles and brought home plenty of bats.
Now I'm singeing the hair on the flying fox bat.
The bat is roasted until the fur is gone. Then cut up into pieces and lightly boiled. Much of the meat remains raw. This creature has fangs, claws, and leathery wings, which would make it highly unappetizing to most outsiders. But these men's mouths are watering. As an appetizer, the chefs also roast sago grubs. A little green garnish completes the dish. As the ones who brought it back to the village, the hunters will eat first.
Nice.
They eat the bat bones as well as the meat. And how does raw bat meat taste?
It tastes like chicken. Same kind of flavor. It tastes good. Other places don't eat them. We don't know about their food traditions. We eat them because our ancestors did, and so will our children and grandchildren.
All right, so hopefully you're still with me, and hopefully you have a better understanding how some of these people around the world catch these bats, why they eat them, and now you know how bats taste, apparently like chicken. But isn't that always the default taste? I don't know about you, but you couldn't pay me to find out. Nope. So, like I said earlier in the video, the virus is spreading like wildfire, and hopefully you are consistently washing your hands and not touching your face without washing your hands thoroughly, okay? And not just using hand sanitizer, because that only works to a certain degree, all right? And when you're washing your hands, just try not to scrub too hard and end up like this guy here. You know, I just don't think the Chinese North American government are telling the full truth about this outbreak. You know, I believe the death toll is likely in the hundreds of thousands, but the media is only giving up so much information in order to not cause a worldwide panic, especially here in the US. I think we should pay close attention to what the Chinese government is doing to their citizens, as the same thing could eventually play out here in America.
Fears of coronavirus are reaching hysteria. In Ukraine today, the mobs came out, attempting to block a convoy of 72 people, mostly Ukrainians, who just returned from Wuhan, China, even though their countrymen had been screened twice for infection. In South Korea, the number of infections doubled overnight to 200. Nearly all of the cases tied to a secretive church, considered a cult by other local Christians. Health officials say 500 more church members are showing symptoms and may be infected, but many have gone underground. China remains the epicenter, with millions forcibly confined to their homes. Some living on the upper floors of apartment blocks, getting food delivered into buckets on ropes. Yet the virus still spreads. 30 countries and territories, nearly 80,000 cases. The World Health Organization unsure how far it will go.
This outbreak could go any direction.
While the virus does not appear to be highly lethal, rumors and misinformation are sowing panic.
Social media, I think, is often at its worst when we are at our most vulnerable.
So people are spreading rumors about the coronavirus to get clicks.
I would 100% guarantee that.
Tonight, fears of a possible coronavirus pandemic are growing. Now, a major new outbreak in South Korea, more than 400 cases. Government saying most of them are linked to a single religious sect and a nearby hospital. South Korean officials racing to contain the spread, spraying the streets and testing thousands of people.
So when you get countries like Japan and South Korea that have these cases that are person to person to person without any real ability to point to where it came from, that's the makings of a pandemic.
A new outbreak now developing in northern Italy. A dozen towns on lockdown, churches and businesses closed, and Milan shutting down public offices. As with new outbreaks in the Middle East, many of those infected have no obvious link to China. The World Health Organization says COVID-19 has killed more than 2,300 people, with more than 77,000 cases, and warning that the window of opportunity is narrowing to contain the outbreak. America's top infectious disease doctor warning if the spread doesn't slow, we could see more cases in the US.
If this evolves into a pandemic, there's no way we in the United States are going to escape having more infections in this country.
There are 13 Americans under quarantine in this unit in Nebraska, 11 testing positive for COVID-19. All came from that cruise ship in Japan.
Nope. See, we're going to go back to that one guy. The statement I'm about to replay is the lies YouTube and the national media is telling in order to keep you from listening to logic and critical thinking from ordinary people with platforms, because then common sense starts to enter reality.
Social media, I think, is often at its worst when we are at our most vulnerable.
So people are spreading rumors about the coronavirus to get clicks.
Nope. See, I call BS. Although there may be platforms out there lying and scaring people, that's not the majority from ordinary people with platforms, okay? And let's be honest, the media is not in the business of putting two and two together and calling the situation for what it is. They're just not. In closing, part of me feels like this is a few things. I feel like this is some sort of global population control, a horrible lab mistake, or a social experiment in order to see how people will react to some sort of terrorist outcome. Because the last time I checked, I have not seen China's President Xi Jinping or Donald Trump forcefully or consistently talking about or even strategizing on how to contain or eradicate this virus. The two most powerful countries on earth have yet to meet to discuss a solution. China's definitely hiding information, and that's why they're killing and kidnapping top doctors, journalists, and ordinary citizens in order to keep its secrets intact, because this is either all a plan or an experiment gone horribly wrong. So this is the part of the video where I want to know, what do you think? Do you think this is one big social experiment, a lab experiment gone wrong, or the idea that this all came from a nasty bat? Let me know in the comment section below, and remember to keep those hands thoroughly washed and not sanitized, okay? I love you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Are you about to kill this man? Pop these niggas like...
Who the
I didn't do it.
Oh man, if you made it this far in the video, do me a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It ain't a party until you subscribe. I love you for watching. I'll see that beautiful face in the next one. Peace!